The void of space stretched endlessly outside the small observation window of the Odyssey's hope. Stars glimmered coldly, indifferent to the struggles of the lone ship drifting through the human sector. Inside, Mara Valen moved carefully across the narrow corridors of the vessel, her boots clinking softly against the metallic floor. Every step reminded her that she was utterly alone. When the fleet had abandoned the region, humanity had been left stranded, cut off from allies and support. Every communication channel had gone dead. Every beacon that might have guided her back to safety had vanished. And yet, Mara didn't panic. Panic was for those who didn't know how to solve impossible problems. She leaned over a console, inspecting the flickering lights that displayed critical engine readings. Sparks danced from an exposed wire. "You can do better than this," she muttered, tapping it gently with a wrench. It was a small thing, barely a repair by galactic standards, but she loved these small victories. Every fix, every adjustment, was a step toward transforming this forgotten ship into something greater. The Odyssey's Hope was an old ship, a relic from the early days of humanity's deep space explorations. Its hull bore scars from decades of travel through asteroid belts, solar storms, and cosmic radiation. But Mara saw potential where others saw ruin. To her, this ship wasn't just metal and circuits, it was a canvas, waiting to be shaped. Mara moved to the engine room next, her eyes scanning the room with practiced precision. She crouched beside the main reactor, tracing lines of wiring with her fingers. Her tools hung from a belt around her waist, each one meticulously chosen for its specific purpose. She worked quickly, but with care, reconnecting circuits and reprogramming the rudimentary AI that ran the ship's systems. The AI responded sluggishly at first, its voice crackling through the speakers. "Power levels critical, systems malfunctioning," Mara smiled. "We're just getting started," she said. She pressed a sequence of buttons, rerouted power, and rewrote some code on the ship's primary console. The AI paused, then responded more confidently. "Power stabilized. Systems nominal." "Better," Mara said, patting the console. "Much better." As she worked, Mara allowed herself a small glance out the observation window. The stars moved slowly, almost lazily, across the darkness. She had always loved space, the quiet, the emptiness, the way it forced a person to think clearly. Alone, she could focus on what mattered, turning the Odyssey's Hope into a masterpiece, a ship no one would expect from a solitary human. The ship's sensors beeped suddenly, a faint alert that caught Mara's attention. She moved to the console, her fingers flying across the keys. The readings were strange, a cluster of drifting debris moving in a formation that didn't make sense. It wasn't a threat, but it was unusual. Mara's curiosity ignited. "Looks like we have visitors," she said softly. She studied the patterns, analyzing the energy signatures. They were faint, almost imperceptible, but there was intelligence behind the movement. Someone or something was out there, watching. For the first time since the fleet's disappearance, Mara felt a thrill of excitement. She wasn't just surviving anymore, she was about to prove something. She could take this abandoned ship and make it more than just a vessel. She could make it extraordinary. Hours passed, or maybe days. Time had no meaning in the vast emptiness of space. Mara worked tirelessly, patching hull breaches, reinforcing the engines, and improvising solutions where standard technology had failed. She fashioned tools out of spare parts, rewrote navigation protocols, and even experimented with energy cells to improve propulsion. Every modification was a test, and every test brought the ship closer to perfection. During one quiet moment, Mara sat on the edge of the maintenance bay, her legs dangling over the side. She studied the ship around her, noticing small details she had never seen before. The way a panel fit just slightly off, the unusual alignment of the navigation console, the way the lighting flickered in sync with the engine's rhythm. "This ship has personality," she murmured, more to herself than anyone else. "It just needs guidance." She laughed softly. The sound echoed through the empty corridors, mingling with the soft hum of the ship's systems. For a moment, she allowed herself to imagine what the galaxy thought of humanity right now. Aliens believed humans were weak, fragile, and incapable of innovation. They had underestimated the resourcefulness, the stubbornness, the sheer ingenuity that defined humanity. And they would be proven wrong. A sudden alert interrupted her thoughts. The sensors had picked up a new anomaly, a small vessel drifting near the edge of the ship's detection field. Mara's heart quickened. The ship hummed as if it shared her anticipation, its systems responding instantly to her commands. She analyzed the readings carefully. The vessel wasn't hostile, but it was foreign, alien in design, with markings she didn't recognize. Mara's mind raced. Could it be an ally? A scout, or just another abandoned remnant like herself? She adjusted the shields, ensuring the Odyssey's hope was protected, and prepared the ship's communications array. "Hello," she called into the empty channel, her voice steady. "This is Mara Valen, human mechanic aboard the Odyssey's Hope. I come in peace." No response came, just silence, but Mara wasn't discouraged. She had learned a long time ago that patience was a human strength. She would wait, observe, and act when the time was right. As night, or what passed for night in space, fell across the observation deck, Mara sat back and considered her progress. The ship was alive in a way it had never been before. Every system hummed in harmony, every engine thrummed with renewed energy. She had taken what was abandoned, what was discarded, and breathed new life into it. The Odyssey's Hope was no longer just a survivor. It was becoming a masterpiece. Mara's thoughts wandered to the stories she had heard as a child, tales of humans accomplishing the impossible, of engineers and explorers who had outwitted the odds with nothing but their minds and hands. She had never doubted that spirit. Now she was living it. Every adjustment she made, every system she repaired, every improvised solution was proof that humans were not to be underestimated. She leaned back in her chair, her eyes scanning the dark expanse outside. Somewhere, out there, the rest of the galaxy was watching. She didn't know it yet, but they would learn soon enough. One human, one mechanic, could turn abandonment into greatness. Mara reached for her toolkit again, preparing for the next phase of her work. She had plans, big plans. Modifications that no standard human engineer had attempted. Innovations that would challenge alien assumptions and redefine what a human ship could do. Her hands worked tirelessly, guided by instinct and experience. She rewired circuits, reinforced structural supports, and tested propulsion systems beyond their rated limits. Sparks flew, panels clanged. The hum of the ship grew louder, more confident, more alive. Hours bled into one another, but Mara didn't notice. She was in the flow, completely immersed in the creation of something extraordinary. The Odyssey's Hope responded to her every touch, every command, as if it understood its own potential. And somewhere deep within the ship, buried beneath layers of metal and circuits, it did. As she finally paused to catch her breath, Mara allowed herself a moment of pride. The galaxy might have abandoned her. The fleet might have left humanity alone. But here she was, alive, determined, and capable of something no one could have predicted. "This is just the beginning," she whispered. The stars outside seemed to shimmer in acknowledgement, distant and indifferent, yet somehow aware. Mara didn't need applause. She didn't need approval. She had her ship, her mind, and her determination. And that was enough. Alone or not, abandoned or not, Mara Valen had a vision. She would turn the Odyssey's Hope into a ship that would not just survive the void, but dominate it with ingenuity, skill, and human spirit. And the galaxy would watch. Mara Valen woke to the soft hum of the Odyssey's Hope, its systems now singing in harmony after her relentless work. The ship's lights glowed warmly, a stark contrast to the cold stars outside the observation window. In the vast emptiness of space, it was easy to feel isolated, but Mara didn't feel alone. Not really. The ship had become a partner, a reflection of her ingenuity and determination. She stretched her arms and moved to the main console. Today, she decided, would be dedicated to testing the ship's new systems. Every modification, every code rewrite, every improvised solution she had installed over the past days. "All right, old friend," she said to the console, her voice soft but confident. "Let's see what you can really do." The ship responded instantly, its engines humming in anticipation, sensors flickering, lights adjusting as if aware of the plan. Mara smiled. She had spent years repairing vessels no one else could, but this was different. This wasn't a repair. It was evolution. She had taken an abandoned ship and pushed it beyond its original design, turning it into something no standard engineer would dare attempt. Mara activated the propulsion systems first. The Odyssey's Hope had once been an average exploration vessel, capable of routine jumps and slow maneuvers. Now, with her modifications, the engines thrummed with power and efficiency, capable of precise bursts and agile turns. She guided the ship out of the sector and into an open expanse, away from the debris fields and abandoned stations. The first test was simple: acceleration and deceleration. Mara gripped the console, her fingers dancing across the controls. She engaged the thrusters and the ship surged forward. Sensors monitored every parameter. The acceleration was smooth, far more refined than the ship had ever achieved. The hum of the engines was no longer mechanical, it was purposeful, intelligent, almost like the ship was aware of its own potential. "Good, very good," Mara muttered. She adjusted the energy flows, rerouted power from auxiliary systems to the engines, and tested a new maneuvering sequence. The Odyssey's Hope twisted, rolled, and glided with a grace Mara had never imagined possible. Next, she turned her attention to navigation. The ship's old AI had been sluggish, unable to anticipate obstacles or adjust for unexpected conditions. Mara rewrote its core algorithms, integrating predictive models and adaptive responses. Now the ship could analyze drifting debris, gravitational anomalies, and energy fluctuations in real time. As a test, she directed the ship toward a small cluster of asteroids. They floated lazily, unthreatening at first glance, but Mara knew better. She activated the ship's new navigation mode, allowing the AI to predict every movement of the rocks. The ship wove through the field effortlessly, dodging obstacles with precision that would have impressed even veteran pilots. "This is amazing," she whispered. "You really are alive now." But Mara didn't stop. She had more ideas, more plans. She modified the energy shields to respond dynamically, reinforcing areas under strain and redistributing power to maintain balance. She rerouted life support to improve efficiency, allowing longer missions without refueling. And she even experimented with the communication arrays, programming them to detect signals that no standard system could perceive. Hours passed. Mara worked tirelessly, but the results were clear. The Odyssey's Hope was no longer an ordinary ship. It was a testament to human creativity, a mechanical organism shaped by intelligence and determination. And somewhere in the distance, aliens began to notice. Small scout vessels drifted past the edges of Mara's sensor range. At first, they were cautious, observing the lone human ship with suspicion. Their technology was advanced, far beyond what Mara had expected, but they had not anticipated what a single human mechanic could accomplish. Reports spread through the alien networks. A human ship, abandoned and presumed obsolete, was performing maneuvers and energy adjustments that rivaled advanced fleet vessels. Observers recorded the patterns, analyzed the energy signatures, and shared their astonishment. Some debated the meaning. Was this a fluke? An error? Or had humanity finally discovered something they had long overlooked? Mara remained unaware of the attention she had drawn. She focused only on her work, driven by the thrill of creation and problem-solving. She experimented with propulsion pattern that allowed the ship to move faster without sacrificing stability. She adjusted energy matrices to enable the shields to absorb more environmental fluctuations. She even enhanced the ship's AI to anticipate problems before they occurred, a predictive logic system that allowed for split-second responses. By mid-cycle, the ship had learned to operate almost autonomously. It adjusted course, corrected minor malfunctions, and optimized energy use without waiting for Mara's commands. She watched it in awe. The machine she had nurtured was no longer merely responsive. It was adaptive, creative, and surprisingly intuitive. "This is more than I imagined," she said softly. "You're extraordinary." Her next challenge was communication. Alien technology had always fascinated her, and she wanted the Odyssey's hope to interact with unknown species without fear. She programmed a universal code translator, capable of deciphering signals that had no standard format. The process was painstaking, requiring trial and error, constant adjustments, and infinite patience. But Mara was determined. She was human, and humans thrived on challenges that others deemed impossible. As she worked, the first contact arrived. A small alien vessel appeared on the sensors, drifting cautiously, its hull reflecting the dim starlight. Mara's systems detected it instantly. The alien ship had no weapons deployed, no aggressive signals, only observation. It hovered, studying the Odyssey's hope as though trying to understand how a human alone could operate such a vessel. Mara activated the communication array, sending a simple message: "I come in peace. I am a mechanic. I seek knowledge, not conflict." The alien ship paused. Its sensors flickered. Then, in a series of bursts and signals, it responded, not in words but in complex energy pulses. Mara's translator worked instantly, interpreting the signals. "You are curious," it said, a single thought transmitted through the code. "You are capable," Mara smiled. "Yes," she replied. "I am human. We survive, we adapt, and we learn. Sometimes we create what no one else believes possible." The alien vessel emitted another series of pulses, this time faster, more intricate. Mara analyzed them carefully. They were patterns of admiration, signals of respect. The alien was stunned, perhaps for the first time, by what a single human could achieve. "You have turned an abandoned vessel into something beyond expectation," the translator rendered. Mara leaned back, feeling a quiet satisfaction. She hadn't sought recognition, hadn't aimed to impress. She simply loved solving problems, fixing things, and pushing limits. And now, the galaxy was starting to notice. The alien ship maintained its distance but followed her trajectory. Mara tested the ship further, executing maneuvers designed to challenge every modification she had made. The Odyssey's hope spun, twisted, and glided with elegance. Its shields pulsed with dynamic energy, absorbing and redirecting stress. Its engines hummed with power and precision. Its AI anticipated every potential hazard, guiding Mara's commands with near-perfect timing. By the end of the cycle, the alien vessel had retreated, not in fear, but in wonder. Mara's work had proven one thing: humans were not to be underestimated. Creativity, determination, and ingenuity were powerful weapons, even more powerful than advanced fleets or superior technology. Mara took a deep breath, watching the alien vessel disappear into the distance. She had learned something important. The universe might abandon humans, but humans never abandon themselves. And with a mind like hers and a ship like the Odyssey's hope, there was no limit to what they could accomplish. She returned to her console, her fingers flying over the controls. There were still systems to optimize, energy flows to balance, and propulsion patterns to perfect. The Odyssey's hope was alive in ways no one had imagined. It was a masterpiece, a symbol of human ingenuity and resilience. And somewhere in the far reaches of the galaxy, other eyes were watching. Small scouts, distant observers, perhaps even fleets were taking note. They had underestimated humans once. They would not make the same mistake again. As night, or the endless void of space, enveloped the ship, Mara allowed herself a moment of reflection. She thought of the humans who had doubted her, the fleet that had left her behind, and the countless others who assumed humanity was weak. "They don't understand," she whispered. "They think we are fragile, but we are stronger than they know. We survive. We create. We turn the impossible into reality." The Odyssey's hope hummed softly, almost in agreement, its lights pulsing rhythmically. Mara knew this was just the beginning. The ship could do more, travel farther, and achieve feats that no human or alien had ever attempted. And Mara would guide it, step by step, system by system, innovation by innovation. Alone or not, abandoned or not, she would prove that humanity could achieve greatness, even when left behind. With a final glance at the stars, Mara leaned back in her chair, a small smile playing on her lips. The galaxy was watching now, and it was about to learn a lesson it would never forget. The Odyssey's hope glided silently through a region of space that no human vessel had dared to traverse for decades. Mara Valen's eyes scanned the consoles with sharp focus. The ship's sensors flickered constantly, mapping energy currents, gravitational distortions, and hidden debris fields. This was no ordinary sector. It was a challenge designed to test everything she had built. Mara's hands moved instinctively across the controls. She had spent weeks refining the engines, the shields, the AI, and even the navigation algorithms. But this was the ultimate test. If she could survive and navigate through the rogue asteroid belt ahead, the Odyssey's hope would prove its worth to the galaxy, and more importantly, to Mara herself. The belt was vast, stretching for hundreds of kilometers. Jagged rocks spun unpredictably, pulled by hidden gravitational eddies. Sensors detected shifts in mass and energy patterns, revealing that the belt was unstable and highly dangerous. No standard ship could traverse it without sustaining serious damage. Mara didn't flinch. "All right, old friend," she said softly, her voice steady but filled with excitement. "Let's see what you've really learned." She activated the ship's AI-assisted thrusters. The Odyssey's hope hummed as if anticipating her challenge. Every system responded instantly. Shields adjusted dynamically, engines powered up to maximum efficiency, and navigation protocols calculated thousands of possible trajectories. Mara took a deep breath and guided the ship into the asteroid belt. The first few obstacles were easy, small rocks she had programmed the AI to recognize and avoid. But then, larger asteroids began spinning erratically, colliding and rebounding in chaotic patterns. The ship weaved, twisted, and slid between the rocks with a precision that would have impressed even the most skilled pilots. The hum of the engines and the pulsing shields created a rhythm that Mara felt in her chest. She was in perfect harmony with the Odyssey's hope. Every maneuver, every adjustment, every minor correction flowed seamlessly. She wasn't just piloting a ship, she was guiding a living machine. Suddenly, the sensors picked up a massive energy surge. A hidden cluster of magnetic fields threatened to pull the ship off course. Mara reacted immediately, adjusting the thrusters and rerouting power to the shields. The ship responded instantly, twisting and accelerating to counter the pull. For a moment, time seemed to slow. The asteroid spun around them like a storm of metal. The energy fields crackled, creating visible arcs across the hull. Mara's hands moved with precision, issuing commands that the AI interpreted and executed flawlessly. Then, with a burst of speed and perfect timing, the Odyssey's hope cleared the most dangerous section. Mara exhaled, a grin spreading across her face. "We did it," she said quietly. "You're amazing." But the test was far from over. The rogue belt was only the first challenge. Beyond it lay a field of energy anomalies, hidden currents that could disable a ship's systems in seconds. Mara's sensors flickered as the anomalies pulsed and shifted unpredictably. "This is going to be fun," she muttered. "Time to see what humans and machines can really do." She reprogrammed the shields to interact with the anomalies, creating a dynamic energy matrix that could absorb fluctuations and redirect them safely. The AI learned instantly, adapting in real time. As the ship moved through the field, sensors predicted disruptions, and the shields adjusted accordingly. Hours passed as Mara navigated the anomalies, testing every system she had upgraded. The Odyssey's hope moved like a living creature, twisting and turning, absorbing energy, predicting hazards and correcting minor malfunctions instantly. The ship had become more than metal and circuits. It was an extension of her mind, a partner in ingenuity. As she cleared the anomaly field, a new alert appeared on the sensors. Another vessel had arrived, a sleek alien ship, its design unlike anything Mara had seen. It hovered at a distance, observing. The alien vessel emitted a complex sequence of signals, scanning the Odyssey's hope with precision. Mara studied the readings. The aliens were not hostile, they were curious, perhaps even impressed. Their technology was far more advanced than her own, but they had underestimated the creativity of a human mind. She activated the communication array. "I am Mara Valen," she said. "Human mechanic. I do not seek conflict. I seek knowledge and exploration." The alien vessel responded with rapid pulses which the translator interpreted as, "You are unusual. Your ship operates beyond standard parameters." Mara smiled. "Yes," she said, "we humans can do extraordinary things when we are underestimated." The alien signals pulsed faster, analyzing her responses. Mara could feel the subtle shifts in the energy around the ship as the aliens scanned her modifications. She had anticipated this, programming the AI to mask sensitive systems while still demonstrating performance. The alien vessel shifted slightly, testing the Odyssey's hope. Mara accepted the challenge. She engaged the ship's advanced maneuvering protocols and executed a series of turns, twists, and accelerations designed to push every system to its limit. The ship responded flawlessly. The aliens paused, then emitted signals of admiration. Mara grinned. Humanity had been left behind, doubted, and abandoned, but ingenuity and determination could not be ignored. Even the most advanced species could recognize brilliance when they saw it. Mara continued her tests, guiding the ship through a sequence of increasingly complex maneuvers. The Odyssey's hope danced through space, a symphony of precision, energy, and ingenuity. Shields adjusted, engines surged, navigation predicted every obstacle, and the AI executed commands before she even finished issuing them. Hours later, Mara paused. The alien vessel had departed, leaving her alone once again. But the test had been a success. She had proven not only to herself, but also to the galaxy that humans could achieve greatness. A single human, working alone, had transformed an abandoned ship into something extraordinary. Mara took a moment to reflect. She had survived the rogue asteroid belt, navigated energy anomalies, and impressed an advanced alien species. Each step had been a testament to human creativity, determination, and adaptability. The galaxy might have abandoned her, but she had not abandoned herself or humanity. Her thoughts wandered to the future. The Odyssey's hope was capable of far more than she had even imagined. She could explore unknown sectors, map uncharted anomalies, and demonstrate the ingenuity of her species. The ship was more than a tool, it was a symbol, a beacon of what humans could achieve when left to their own devices. Mara smiled at the console. "We're just getting started," she said softly. "The universe doesn't know what's coming." She began planning the next phase of her journey. There were entire regions of space unexplored, mysteries waiting to be solved, and challenges that no human or alien had faced. The Odyssey's hope would lead the way, guided by the mind of a single mechanic who refused to accept limitations. As night, or the endless void of space, Stretched beyond the observation window, Mara allowed herself a rare moment of relaxation. The hum of the ship, the gentle glow of the instruments, and the distant twinkle of stars created a sense of peace. Yet beneath that peace was a growing anticipation. The galaxy had seen a glimpse of what humans could do, and Mara knew this was only the beginning. The Odyssey's hope responded to her thoughts, engines and systems pulsing in quiet agreement. Together, they had overcome impossible obstacles, outsmarted environmental hazards, and impressed alien observers. Together, they would continue to push the boundaries of what was possible. Mara leaned back, her eyes scanning the stars. Somewhere beyond the visible horizon, other eyes were watching, other beings curious, cautious, or perhaps even skeptical. They did not yet understand the full potential of humans, but they would, and Mara Valen would make sure they did. With a determined smile, she returned to her console. There were more tests to run, more modifications to make, and more boundaries to push. The Odyssey's hope was evolving, learning, and adapting. And Mara, the human mechanic who had been abandoned by all, was guiding it toward greatness. She knew one truth above all: humans were never truly alone in the universe, not when they relied on ingenuity, determination, and the refusal to accept impossibility. And the Odyssey's hope was the perfect example. The stars outside shimmered faintly, indifferent yet beautiful. Mara's eyes sparkled with anticipation. The galaxy had doubted her species, but she had shown them a glimpse of what humans could achieve. And this was only the beginning. She adjusted a few more controls, ran diagnostics on the propulsion system, and activated a new series of experiments designed to push the ship even further. Each adjustment, each test, was another step toward a legendary status she knew the Odyssey's hope could achieve. Alone or abandoned, underestimated or ignored, humans could do extraordinary things. And Mara intended to prove it. The Odyssey's hope glided through the endless void, its engines humming a steady rhythm, its shields shimmering like liquid silver in the faint starlight. Mara Valen sat at the main console, her eyes scanning the data streams with calm focus. After weeks of tests, repairs, and daring maneuvers, the ship was no longer just functional, it was extraordinary. It had become a marvel of human ingenuity, capable of feats no one had thought possible. And yet, Mara knew that to prove humanity's worth, she had to do more than survive. She had to demonstrate greatness in a way that the galaxy could not ignore. Her sensors detected movement, a vessel, larger than any scout she had encountered, approaching from the edge of the system. Unlike the previous observers, this one emitted signals of authority and sophistication. Mara studied it carefully. The ship's design was sleek, intimidating, and unfamiliar. Whoever commanded it clearly expected superiority, yet curiosity pulsed faintly in its communications. Mara smiled. She had been underestimated all her life by fleets, by aliens, by human supervisors. But she had learned to turn underestimation into advantage. "Time to show them what we can do," she whispered, fingers dancing over the controls. She engaged the Odyssey's hope's advanced thrusters, initiating maneuvers designed to test every system she had built. The ship responded instantly, twisting, rolling, and gliding with precision. Energy matrices shifted dynamically, shields adapted to the environmental fluctuations, and the AI anticipated every possible movement of the approaching vessel. The alien ship mirrored her motions, testing her, probing for weaknesses. Mara observed its scans carefully. Its sensors were powerful, but it underestimated the flexibility of human engineering and creativity. The Odyssey's hope was not built for brute force. It was built for ingenuity, adaptability, and speed. Mara adjusted the energy distribution, diverting power to the shields for brief moments, then to propulsion, then to sensor amplification. Every adjustment was precise, calculated, and executed flawlessly. She allowed the alien vessel to push the test further, twisting through narrow asteroid tunnels and magnetic currents with skill that surprised even her. Hours passed, and the tests became increasingly daring. The alien ship tried to corner her, using gravity wells and energy pulses to force errors. But Mara anticipated each move. The Odyssey's hope reacted instantly, sliding through hazards, deflecting energy disruptions, and accelerating in ways that seemed impossible. Finally, after a particularly intricate series of maneuvers, the alien vessel stopped, hovering silently. The pulses of admiration came through the translator. "You have done what we did not expect. Your ingenuity is remarkable." Mara leaned back in her chair, a satisfied grin spreading across her face. "Thank you," she said quietly, "but we're just getting started." She realized that she was not only proving humanity's worth, she was demonstrating a philosophy. Humans were resourceful, adaptable, and unafraid to take risks that others considered reckless. They did not rely solely on power, numbers, or technology. They relied on creativity, intelligence, and determination. Mara activated the ship's exploration protocols, preparing for a journey beyond the familiar sectors. There were regions of space uncharted by any human or alien vessel, sectors filled with unknown hazards and mysteries. This was where the Odyssey's hope would truly shine. The ship's AI pulsed with readiness. Sensors scanned the void ahead, mapping gravitational currents, energy anomalies, and drifting debris. Mara initiated a sequence of tests designed to push the engines to their maximum capacity while maintaining absolute stability. The Odyssey's hope surged forward, accelerating past previous limits with a precision that no standard fleet could match. Shields shimmered and adjusted dynamically, dispersing energy from cosmic radiation and magnetic turbulence. The ship twisted and rolled with agility that made it appear alive, almost sentient. Mara's hands moved over the controls with practiced ease. She monitored energy flows, adjusted navigation, and communicated with the AI in a rhythm that reflected complete trust between human and machine. Each maneuver was a demonstration not of strength, but of intelligence, foresight, and ingenuity. As she navigated the first sequence of gravitational anomalies, sensors detected faint signals in the distance, other ships, observing quietly, calculating, perhaps reassessing their assumptions about humanity. Mara didn't react with arrogance. She reacted with focus. She wanted the Odyssey's hope to succeed because of its brilliance, not because of intimidation. A massive anomaly loomed ahead, a swirling field of energy currents and debris moving unpredictably. Mara studied it carefully, calculating every possible path, every risk. This was the ultimate test of human ingenuity against the raw chaos of space. "All right, old friend," she whispered. "Let's see what we're really made of." She engaged the advanced AI protocols, allowing the Odyssey's hope to anticipate movements within the anomaly. Shields shifted, engines accelerated in microbursts, and sensors predicted the slightest changes in energy fields. The ship moved with grace, dodging debris, riding currents, and correcting deviations almost before they happened. The alien observers maintained distance, silent witnesses to a performance that defied their expectations. Mara guided the ship through impossible maneuvers, testing limits that no other vessel had approached. And through it all, the Odyssey's hope responded flawlessly, a testament to human creativity and skill. By the time she cleared the anomaly, Mara felt a surge of triumph. Not only had the Odyssey's hope survived, it had dominated the challenge, proving that human ingenuity could overcome chaos without relying on raw force or overwhelming technology. The alien ship approached cautiously. Signals of acknowledgement and admiration came through the translator. "You have turned limitation into opportunity. You are extraordinary." Mara smiled. "Yes," she said, "that is what humans do." She realized that this moment was more than personal achievement. It was a legacy. Humanity had been doubted, abandoned, and underestimated. Yet here, in the cold emptiness of space, a single human had taken an abandoned ship and turned it into something legendary. Her thoughts wandered to the many humans who had doubted her, the commanders, the engineers, even her peers. She felt no bitterness, only quiet satisfaction. Humanity's strength was not in obedience or conformity. It was in creativity, adaptability, and the courage to pursue what seemed impossible. The Odyssey's hope pulsed with energy, almost as if it understood the significance of its journey. Mara leaned back, observing the stars as they stretched endlessly ahead. The ship had become more than metal and circuits. It was a symbol, a living proof of what humans could achieve when left to their own devices. She began plotting a course for the next unexplored sector. There were mysteries to unravel, anomalies to study, and perhaps civilizations that had never encountered humans before. The Odyssey's hope would be the first to lead humanity into new frontiers. Mara reflected on how far she had come. Alone, abandoned, underestimated, she had faced challenges that others thought impossible. She had not only survived but thrived, creating a vessel capable of outsmarting advanced technology, navigating chaos, and demonstrating ingenuity that even alien observers could not ignore. The universe had doubted humans. She had proven them wrong. As she prepared for the next leg of her journey, Mara allowed herself a rare moment of quiet pride. The Odyssey's hope glowed softly, engines humming with life, shields shimmering with energy, and AI systems ready to assist. Together they were unstoppable, not through brute force, but through intelligence, creativity, and relentless determination. The stars outside twinkled faintly, indifferent yet beautiful. Mara's eyes reflected their light. The galaxy had underestimated humanity, but she had shown what a single human could achieve, and the lesson would spread. Somewhere distant observers would record her feats, analyze them, and wonder. How could one human with no fleet, no support, and nothing but an abandoned ship accomplish such feats? The answer was simple. Humans thrived where others gave up. Humans created what others thought impossible. Humans turned abandonment into opportunity, weakness into strength, and challenges into triumph. Mara reached for her tools again, preparing minor adjustments to further enhance the Odyssey's hope. There was always room for improvement, always a new system to test, always a frontier to explore. She had no doubt that the ship could achieve even greater feats with careful guidance. As the alien vessel finally departed, sending signals of acknowledgement and respect, Mara felt a quiet thrill. The galaxy had seen a glimpse of human brilliance. She had shown them that humanity was not fragile, not weak, and not to be underestimated. The Odyssey's hope pulsed in quiet agreement, ready for the next challenge, ready to prove once more that humans could achieve greatness. Mara's heart swelled with determination. This was her legacy, and humanity's. She smiled, fingers resting lightly on the controls. The void stretched endlessly ahead, full of mysteries, opportunities, and challenges. And she, with her ingenuity and her extraordinary ship, would face them all. Alone or abandoned, underestimated or ignored, humans could create, survive, and triumph. The Odyssey's hope was the proof. Mara Valen was the proof. And together, they would turn the impossible into legend. The stars shimmered in silence, watching as a human and her ship carved a path of ingenuity across the galaxy. The universe had learned a lesson it would never forget. Never underestimate a human, especially one with a vision, determination, and a machine shaped by brilliance. Mara leaned back once more, a sense of quiet victory washing over her. The galaxy was watching. And now it would remember. Humans, she realized, didn't just survive, they created greatness.